Hey there, welcome back to Historical Gaming. I'm the Fit Historian. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad you're here to enjoy all of the nerdom. Now, in this video, we're exploring the history behind one of Walt Disney's lost characters. Well, actually, the lost character, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. If you are a Disney fan, you probably have seen Oswald pop up here and there. Today, we're going back in time to explore how Oswald came to fruition and what happened to him. All while we do a speed build of a museum in Disney Dreamlight Valley. Make sure you stay until the end to see the finished build. Go ahead, grab your cup of coffee, settle in with your floofy companion, grab that controller, and let's jump right in. Alright, let's jump into some background. Walt Disney traveled to California in the summer of 1923 to see if he could sell his first cartoon series called Alice's Wonderland. Alice's Wonderland was a series that followed a real-life girl through her adventures in a cartoon world. On October 16, 1923, a New York distributor named M.J. Winkler liked the Alice comedies and decided to sign Walt Disney. This is widely seen as the official beginning of the Walt Disney Company. Later, when Oswald is created, Winkler's husband Charles Mintz takes over the company. And Universal, yes, the Universal, comes into the scene as the new distributor. Before the company got its iconic name, though, it was known as the Disney Brothers Cartoon Company, with Walt and his brother Roy as equal partners. It wasn't until Roy Disney made the suggestion of changing the company name to the Walt Disney Company did the name actually change. Walt continued to make his Alice cartoons for about 4 years, and in 1927 he decided to move to an all-cartoon series starring a certain Lucky Rabbit. That's right, our new friend Oswald came into fruition in 1927. Oswald began as a grumpy old rabbit in his first appearance, and after comments from the distributor Universal, Walt changed him to his more iconic, sassy, younger form. Over the next year, Walt made about 26 Oswald cartoons. When he went to his distributor to try and get a second year, Disney found that his distributor had signed almost all of his animators in an effort to make the Oswald cartoons on his own for way less money. When Disney went back to read his contract, he realized that within the contract, any cartoons he made with the distributor were no longer his. Therefore, Oswald no longer belonged to Walt Disney or the Disney Brothers Cartoon Company. It was a major lesson learned for Disney, and from then on, he always made sure that any cartoon he made, that he had the ownership rights. Now let's dig deeper into Oswald. How did Walt come up with the iconic rabbit? What were his cartoons like? How is Oswald related to Mickey Mouse? Let's find out. When Walt Disney got tired of making the live-action animated mixed series of the Alice comedies, he went on the search for a new idea for an all-animated cartoon series. Disney's distributor, Universal, suggested choosing anything other than a cat, because cats were played out. At the time, there were already several cat cartoons like Felix the Cat, Crazy Cat, and Walt's Cat in the Alice comedies. After some talk, Walt landed on a rabbit. But how did Oswald get his name? Well, Disney decided to let Universal choose, and as the story goes, names were placed in a hat, and the name Oswald was the one that was pulled. The Lucky Rabbit nickname comes from the superstition that rabbit feet are lucky. This even leads to, in one of his early cartoons, Oswald takes off his own foot to rub it for luck. Oswald's character design took some work to get right. Disney teamed up with his partner iWorks to come up with this iconic design that we recognize today. Like I mentioned earlier, the first design of Oswald as an old grumpy rabbit in the cartoon Poor Papa in 1927 was not well received by the distributor. In response to their dislike, Disney stated, "I am sorry that the first Oswald was such a keen disappointment to everyone. This work was animated by a man of experience, whom I am willing to put alongside of any man in the business today. Hereafter, we will aim to make Oswald a younger character, peppy, alert, saucy, and venturesome, keeping him also neat and trim." The Oswald design we recognize today debuted in Trolley Troubles in 1927 and became Oswald's first short of 26 of them. Disney and iWorks were able to create an assembly line system to be able to make a new Oswald short every 2 weeks as requested by Mintz and Universal. Disney at this point noticed the popularity of Oswald and realized there was a merchandise opportunity for the Lucky Rabbit. Universal jumped on it and began almost immediately selling tie-in products to help promote the shorts. The first portion product was a chocolate bar with Oswald on it, and it hit shelves in 1927. Oswald was a hit, and in 1928, Disney felt that he should be paid more for their work, so he made a trip to New York to meet with Mintz. Before he left, iWorks warned Disney that Mintz was signing some of Disney's artists behind his back, but didn't really sink in until Mintz offered Disney $500 less per short and asked for 50% of the profit. Not only that, but Mintz offered to sign Disney as an employee at Mintz's firm. To add insult to injury, Disney also found out that his beloved Oswald wasn't even his. Universal is the one that owned the copyright of Oswald and all the profits that came from the character. No surprise, a betrayed Disney declined all of the offers, and before leaving New York, he wired his brother Roy to make sure he signed iWorks and any remaining artists as exclusive employees. The Mintz firm animators finished their contract with Universal producing the Oswald cartoons. While they were doing this, Disney and iWorks were hard at work creating the most iconic and beloved cartoon character of all time, Mickey Mouse. By 1938, Mickey Mouse was more popular than Oswald, and Oswald began fading from film in 1938, with his last appearance being in 1948. He didn't fade away completely, though. Oswald remained in print distribution and comics through the 1960s in the US, Mexico, and Italy. Oswald got a bit of resurgence in 2004 when he resurfaced in Japan, becoming a popular culture icon. In 2006, the Walt Disney Company were able to bring Oswald home by reacquiring his copyright as part of an asset exchange deal with Universal. It took 70 years to get Oswald back, but he was finally able to join the Disney family once again. Mintz opened his own studio with the employees he hired from under Walt Disney's nose and continued to produce Oswald cartoons. One of the first was the 1920 short Hen Fruit. Universal eventually dropped Mintz and began producing Oswald on the Universal lot. The first short they did was the 1929 Race Riot. Under Universal, Oswald's appearance began to change. In his shorts, they contained more slapstick and visual gags, rather than Disney's original story-driven style. Oswald also started wearing white gloves, shoes, and a shirt. His face even changed a little, with it being drawn cuter, with a bigger head and bigger eyes. His ears were also shortened a bit. Fast forward to 1935, in the short called Case of the Lost Sheep, Oswald had a major makeover that, in my opinion, rendered him unrecognizable. Instead of being his usual clearly cartoonish self, Oswald was now a more realistic rabbit with white fur, no shoes, and he started wearing suspenders and shorts instead of a shirt. With the new look came a softer feel to Oswald's storylines. Another slight change came in his second to last film, Happy Scouts, which came out in 1938. In the film, Oswald received white and gray fur rather than being all white. Walter Lantz, who started producing Oswald for Universal in 1929, is also the one that introduced dialogue into the Oswald cartoons. Oswald didn't have a single voice actor, though. The first person to voice Oswald was Bill Nolan in the short Cold Turkey. Pinto Colvig was next up, and then in 1931, Mickey Rooney took over for the next year. In 1932, the voice actors began changing regularly, with many studio members and even Walter Lantz himself lending their voice to Oswald. In Oswald's final theatrical short in 1943, The Egg Cracker Suite, he was voiced by June Foray. In 1934, Oswald went color and sound in two-strip Technicolor in Toyland Premiere and Springtime Serenade. The only three-strip Technicolor that Oswald was a part of was The Egg Cracker Suite, which was his final short. Other than that, Oswald remained in the black and white realm of cartoons. Oswald's final cartoon appearance was a cameo in the Woody the Woodpecker polka in 1951. From 1935 to 36, Oswald got his first comic strip titled Oswald the Rabbit, drawn by Al Stahl and published by National Allied Publications. From 1942 to 1962, Oswald got a second chance in comics in Dell Comics' New Funnies. In these comics, Oswald was a stuffed rabbit with other living stuffies and toys, a similar concept to Winnie the Pooh. In 1944, the stuffed animal shtick was dropped, and he was back to being a real rabbit. In the 1970s, Oswald made small appearances in Woody the Woodpecker comic series, but that was it for Oswald, except for some comics outside of the US. Wait, the story isn't over though. In 2006, Disney CEO Bob Iger created an agreement with NBC Universal where he traded sportcaster Al Michaels' contract for Disney's lost rights to the beloved Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Since then, Oswald has been making up for lost time by popping up in merchandise, video games, and even receiving his own animated short called Oswald the Lucky Rabbit to celebrate Disney 100. This was his first Disney short in almost 95 years. Today, Oswald is finally getting his share of the limelight alongside his Disney character family, where he was destined to be. Alright, that's it for today's history lesson. What do you think of Oswald's changes over the decades? Are you glad he's back in the Disney family? Let me know your thoughts below. In just a second, we're going to go and dive into our final walkthrough of the museum design that we've been working on. But first, don't forget to go ahead and like the video. And if you're new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you can catch the next video. We are so close to 100 subscribers, and I would love to get there here soon. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next one. Have a historic day. Bye!